Well, I'm full of cold, but I am back on the plot and I've got lots to do today. I've got all the covers opened up, so I thought I'd give you a quick tour. It's looking pretty good. I'm quite happy. I'm quite excited for today though, because today's the day that I am stripping off, taking off all the tops off the carrots, all the tops off the beetroot, so I can see what I've got. There's not much growing left now to do, so it doesn't really matter taking the tops off, but what you get is, you get a full sight of all your crops and how well they've done, and dramatically reduce the risk of losses from slugs and snails. So I'm excited to be getting on with that, but for now we'll just do a quick tour. So we'll go into the polytunnel last. We'll just do all these outdoor beds. So I'm just about to clear this bed actually. This is the summer beetroot bed. Really big roots on these now, but it doesn't matter because they're just super tender still. This is going to be garlic, and in spring, late spring, early summer, I will harvest the middle row of that garlic as green garlic, and I'll just put a row of Savoy cabbages in, just like I did here. And it looks like a bit of a wasted space really, this bed right now, but those Savoy cabbages did have very big leaves that basically took up all that bed, and down the side there was squash growing, so yeah, it wasn't as wasted as it looks in summer. That one's looking a bit rough actually. I think I might harvest that one, but the others are looking really nice. I'll try and keep those going for as long as possible into winter. I've got loads of red cabbages as well though, so I'm kind of not short. These are my very, very, very late sown and planted Brussels. They have got little Brussels on them now, but I mean they're not very great, are they? We will see. I'm not harvesting these until, well, January, February sort of time, so I'm not overly worried. I'm not worried at all really, but I'm interested really, I suppose is just the right way of putting it, to see how they do. I did have potatoes in here, so basically it was like, can I get 2 crops out of this bed? And I think the answer is maybe. We'll see. So leeks down here, these are doing okay. A little bit dry this soil at the moment, need a bit more rain. So the leeks are fine, good size on them, a little tiny bit of rust, not overly worried about any of that. Got my pear tree and apple tree there growing up on these frames, and gradually over time I'm sort of moving more and more fruit down here. And then here we've got the colettes, most of the colettes anyway. We've got some at home as well, but they're just starting to form up really nicely now. I've taken all these lower leaves off, partly because these plants keep blowing over in the wind, even though they're kind of well supported here, because they had such a huge amount of leaf area. We've had such bad storms that basically there was not very much I could do really to support them. But I think now, just with this little bit of top growth here, they should be fine. There's enough top growth there to support the growth of the colettes on the stem. They should be coming in to sort of harvest about December time. It's a really nice timing for me. And then you get a huge crop of leaves in spring. And right now we are eating these leaves because they're lovely. And it's just enough there, to pick like 1 or 2 leaves off each plant each week, and gives us a nice little harvest. Blueberries are looking pretty. Cherry trees, apple trees. I've just harvested all the apples actually off there. They were really nice Brabants, really good size. Now you could leave Brabants on the tree for longer, but they're an apple that grows best down south, to be honest, rather than up here in the north. And so we're using them for dehydrating because we've got loads of great eating apples. So this is one of the carrot beds. This is the winter and spring carrot bed. And I am just about to take this top off, cut all those leaves off, and we'll see what we've got, but not in this video. And these are the red cabbages, again, or most of them. We've got a few on Debbie's plot as well. But yeah, they're looking really great, really nice size on these. Most of my beds have got clubroot, so I'm growing clubroot varieties. And this is red Ladero, and it's done really nicely. So yeah, we've got plentiful supply here of red cabbages. I always leave, once I've cut the tops off, I always leave the plants in the ground because I love the pups. I actually like the pups more than the red cabbages, so I will have loads of pups here because I won't need this bed for replanting until early March. So I can afford to sort of leave the cabbages for a while. I will take some of them, harvest them into buckets, leave the roots on, and that means that I get less rotting of the outer leaves. This is the winter and spring beetroot bed, and again just going to do the same thing, take all these leaves off and see what I've got underneath. The leaves will regrow, and instead of these leaves, which are basically pretty much inedible, you know, that certainly in salads they're really tough, I will get lovely new fresh leaves growing, and I look forward to eating those. And I might take these covers off and replace them with cold frame tops. I've got enough cold frame tops to do it, but I'll probably wait a little bit until these leaves have all fallen, because otherwise you just get like thousands of leaves on top of the cold frame tops and just have to keep wiping them off all the time, and also lots of sticks falling and potentially piercing the cold frame tops. So yeah, but it's nice because then as I clear these beds through winter into spring, again I can get these beds replanted in March, and that'll be nice. So down here I've got my spinach beds all the way down there, and then a few lettuces at the end. I am short of spinach this year. I had a failure on one of our sowings of spinach, so yeah, I've got about half the spinach that I normally have at this time of year, but I'm kind of coping. I'm using most of it in salads. This is kind of like the limit of the size of leaves and I would eat in a salad. The ones down there are, let's see if I can just zoom in for you, they're way bigger, so they're fine for cooking. And then in February all these beds get replanted with a mix of calabrese and cauliflowers. They're all in the greenhouse at the moment, little plants. But by February they'll all be nice plants, about 6 inches tall, 6 to 8 inches tall, and yeah, they will romp away in February, and we'll be harvesting those sort of April, May time. So just down, well, I've got a few potatoes there, which I'm about to top and put in the little greenhouse, but they're the ones we'll be eating in April. Planted quite late, so I think July, something like that. So it means you get another, 3 or 4 weeks of good quality tubers out of them. And those are the summer carrot, well, the summer and autumn carrots. I've finished harvesting those and I've just put some salad rocket in there. But these, again, I'm just about to top, so I can see how much I've got left. But basically I've got sort of 3 or 4 weeks really, maybe a little bit longer in there. And then I'll switch over to this giant bed here. And then that is also a cold frame, so a cold frame top will go on that once I've done all that, and that will help that salad rocket to sort of romp away there. This is my last pepper bed. I have 3 pepper beds plus the ones at home, but these are looking really lovely. I'm very happy with those. These are all the little lunchbox peppers, and there's the odd one sort of rotting off there, but most of them still are in really nice condition. I've got a few greens. We've got loads of lovely red ones there, as you can see. So yeah, very happy with that. And this bed is going to be lettuces. I've just sown the lettuces, so it'll be about 3 weeks before I clear all this lot and get it replanted. But for now, it's just giving us lovely fresh peppers. The freezer is full of frozen peppers, but it's still nice to keep fresh ones going as long as we can. The trick here with this bed, well, not a trick really, was that it got quite badly infested with aphids early on, and so it didn't set fruit early on because aphids just love the flowers, but it cleared by about June time, and so it set fruit sort of towards the end of June. So this is the first crop off this bed, so it's not the second crop like in all my other pepper beds, and that's why there's so many red ones because it's as I say, it's the first crop ripening. So I think next year I'm going to basically try and repeat that process by starting a third of my peppers about a month later, so sometime sort of towards the end of February. So I plant them out in June, and they flower and set fruit obviously then a little bit later, and this is the result. So there's always a lot going on in my videos, a lot to keep track of, so I do recommend subscribing to my weekly newsletter. It's free to subscribe, and you get all the nitty-gritty details, you know, what I'm sowing, what I'm pricking out, what I'm potting on, what I'm planting, what I'm harvesting, all the problems I'm having, how I'm coping with those problems, and more importantly, why I'm doing all the things that I'm doing at the times of year that I'm doing them, and where I'm planting stuff. You know, am I planting it into the low tunnels, just bare into the ground? Am I direct sowing? Am I pricking out and potting on and all that? So do subscribe to that. You can find that at steverichards.substack.com. There's a link in the description down below. Also linked to all my other resources, my free ebook and loads more. So let's get back to the video. So this is an experiment this year. I normally do my carrots for May and early June in containers in the polysoil. I'm still going to do that because it's an experiment and I can't afford to be without carrots. But I'm going to try and overwinter them in this bed. So this year I've put Eskimo in. There's better carrots, to be honest, but that's what I had. So I just decided to go with Eskimo. And they should overwinter quite nicely. So I'm hoping, as I say, to get a nice abundance of carrots in the May-June period. Some of them small to start off with, and then obviously building in size. But we're always kind of short. You know, I only have like a handful a week of carrots normally in May and June, and now we should have, you know, well, 2 or 3 handfuls a week. So that will make a big difference. I don't like being short of things. Down here, we've got all my baby beet leaves for salads, and so I've got all sorts of different ones in here, all sown direct, and they're looking absolutely lovely. I won't pick them this week, I'll start picking them next week I think, but yeah, I'm just really happy with these. I'll just zoom in a little bit because I'm so happy. So we've got a lot of golden beetroot there, which has the loveliest leaves. I really like the golden beetroots. But then here we've got something like Botello, I think, something like that, just whatever seeds I've got left over basically at the end of the season. And then here we've got bull's blood, which has this beautiful dark colouring. It doesn't grow as strongly because obviously it's got a red leaf. Red leaves don't photosynthesize as effectively as green ones, so they're a little bit slower, but they are really lovely. And then there are some, I don't know what those are, but I'll find out when I start picking them probably. But I think they might be golden beetroot as well. Probably, just as I say, they're just loads of old seeds that I just bung in at really high density. But yeah, super happy with those. So these are the baking potatoes. We've got loads of baking potatoes that we're eating at the moment, but I've got these stored nicely underneath this thick wood chip mulch. So I'll be harvesting these at like November time, something like that, and they're the ones we'll be eating all through winter. But yeah, so they're a mix of Estima and Sapamira. And then these are the Asian greens that we're going to be eating. Maybe this week I'll take a few leaves, but mostly I'll start picking them next week, certainly these. So these are red stem pak choy and looking really nice. And we're all going to go into salad mixes, these. And then we've got tatsoi down there. And that's obviously nowhere near as far on, so that will keep on growing. I'll probably start harvesting that, to be honest, you know, towards the end of November or something. But yeah, these are all looking nice. And I've just sown a lot more of these, which will grow on for baby leaves in the middle of winter in the greenhouse under grow lights, because they grow really well, these under grow lights. Not everything does, to be honest, because sometimes it's just too cold for them in the greenhouse, even with the grow lights. You know, there's plenty of light but not enough heat. I don't really heat the greenhouse. Keep it frost free, but I don't heat it. Well, Sometimes it needs to be heated in order to keep it frost free, but it's pretty rare. Maybe it's all the way through winter. It probably cost me about a tenner or something like that, and I'm harvesting, I don't know, 20 quid a week or something like that of food from it. So I don't really consider it heating. I start heating really in April, and that's when we put in all the early cucumbers and tomatoes and aubergines and peppers and all that sort of thing. Oh, as I say, I'm not feeling very well today, so this is a bit of a struggle. I'm almost talked out. So yeah, this is the summer lettuce bed, the last of the summer lettuce bed, and it's all gone to seed, so I shall be clearing that pretty soon. But the Riccia is actually still okay, so that's quite interesting. As are these extra net, and down there in that sort of far corner, maybe you can see, but there's some half-flecks. So they're Selenovas, and the Grenoble Red, which is that one, it's not the red one actually, ironically, it's this one here, is also not gone to seed, but all the others have gone to seed. And then in my vertical growing space, there's not much left. So I've got strawberries down here, some strawberries on there. I'm still eating a few strawberries, but soon all this will get replaced. Well, actually, not soon. It won't get replaced until spring now. I will be planting some things in these mini beds down here to replace these salad onions. So I'll probably put some broad beans in here, and then in spring, well, late winter, there'll be the early peas will go in here, and then the early beans and all that sort of thing. So I've got 4 of these mini beds that grow vertically on this frame, and it's always really lovely once it's all grown up. But for now, it's what it is. And I've just cut back the autumn fruiting raspberries because they've finished now. So hidden away behind this cover, I've got some yacon. That's looking really good. I don't think I've ever had yacon looking as nice as that at this time of year. We use the yacon as like a radish alternative in the middle of winter when radishes won't grow. I've got some more lettuces in here for midwinter. I've got a few lettuces there for late autumn. I've got salad rocket in there for now. And this is the lettuce bed that we're currently eating from. It's looking really nice. So we've got my favourite, flashy lightning butter oak. And then there's Grenoble Red, which is looking lovely. And then half-flecks, more Grenoble Red, more flashy lightning butter oak. And then Riccia, Novara, Extranet, Novara and Riccia, and these are all great varieties for autumn. None of them, well, apart from the Grenoble Red, none of them are great for winter, but my spring beds will look like that as well. So the varieties that tend to do well in autumn tend to do well in spring as well. So yeah, this bed, the pepper bed that I mentioned before, that's where all those lettuces are going, and basically it's the same mix that I just showed you that'll get planted in there, and they'll overwinter and they'll be ready in March. Got the asparagus, just got to clear that, and then I'm putting a thick mulch on there, and then into that mulch I plant salad onions, and then harvest the salad onions at the same time as I'm harvesting the asparagus. The asparagus just sort of like pushes through in between the salad onions, and then all of it just gets taken out at the same time in June, and is allowed to grow on. So these hanging baskets of strawberries for early spring, and they're going to be in the polytunnel. I've got gooseberries here, which are looking quite nice, and some other gooseberries that I didn't show you, and some tubs of strawberries. And then finally we've got the polytunnel. I've got a few things out here, some more ochre, some New Zealand spinach, which is actually hanging on really well. It's really nice in salads, that. And yeah, then this is mostly salad ingredients. Well, I think it's almost all salad ingredients, to be honest, apart from maybe the parsley. So we've got all these lettuces are for late autumn and winter and early spring. And so these are Grenoble Red. These are really great, really lovely winter lettuce and spring lettuce. And then we've got Roxy, which is okay in winter. It's super reliable though, which is why I grow it. But it's really nice in spring, early spring. I'm basically replace all this with new crops as we sort of move through spring, and then by May it's all tomatoes and cucumbers and things. But yes, I try and get a lot of crops out of here, about 5 crops a year, something like that. And then down the end there, I've got the flashy lightning butter oak, which I love, but it doesn't really grow very strongly over winter. So sometimes, depending on how it's doing, I'll just replace this with new little lettuces in December or January, and we'll be eating those in March. And then in these troughs, I've got the baby beet leaves that we're currently in our salads, and I've got a few of those troughs down there. I've got some really nice parsley, which does really well in the polytunnel in the middle of winter, which is mainly why I grow it in containers as well as growing it outside. And then up here in these sorts of containers, I'll have my overwintered carrots. So they'll start those in a week or so's time, and yeah, I'll be eating those in May and June. I put them outside actually in April because I find that they get mildew if you keep them in the polytunnel for too long. And then down here we've got Claytonia. I love this in the salads. It's unique in that it actually actively grows in the middle of winter. Nothing else really actively grows. It survives, but it doesn't actually put on any growth. The Claytonia just keeps on going. It's amazing, even though it's actually underneath this trestle table here, so it's not getting a huge amount of light, but it just keeps going. And you can see it self-seeds prolifically as well. So I've got loads here, which the self-seeds are sort of running about 6 weeks behind the ones that I sowed. And then I've got a few more. I've got some Riccia and some more flashy lightning butter oak there. And again, these are just ones that won't probably make it through winter into spring, but that's not a problem because all this bed is replanted with Calabrese in February, and lettuces as well actually, so I sort of interplant the two of them. So I've mainly got down here Brighton with a few Valdor, and they will kind of heart up, and as I say, they'll be harvested in mid and late winter, so they kind of provide a reserve, and then they're all cleared because you just need so much lettuce to get through the middle of winter. And then I've got some more Claytonia down there, and then up on the trestle table I have more carrots. So that's kind of it, apart from, well actually that's it. I will have other things in here, lots of things coming in, but for now that's what's in here, apart from a few sort of spare lettuces. So I hope you like this quick video. My name's Steve, this is the Outgrow channel. I'll see you soon.